Ring, ring.
Hello?
May I speak?
Hello?
Hi, may I speak to the fire brigade?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me put out this fire real quick because it's it's a lot. It's a lot. Yes, this is he.
Hi, Matthew. How are you?
Hello, Emily. I'm doing great today. Cheers. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you too. Cheers. I'm calling my friend Matthew today, who lives only a couple of miles from my house, and I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes. We had a near fire hazard situation going on with this amplifier, but he's put it out, and we're ready to party. Are we okay?
Everything's fine. We're good.
Anyway, thank you for endangering your life for me today.
Anytime.
I hope it means this is going to be a smoking hot conversation.
Smoking.
I'm calling my friend Matthew today. This is our fourth inning together. Do you know this is the fourth time we've recorded together?
Wow.
My esteemed sympathetic string, Matthew Paige, who has become, on a volunteer basis, my authority on many issues. And I want to review what we've done so far because I know you're a rock and roll gladiator and you stay busy. And when we first met, I think it was in the wintertime. Well, we had known each other before, but I ran into you and really had the occasion. And when I found out you knew how to play real sitar, a reminder to the listener, and you made a recording with me about real sitar, I thought to myself, I have found myself with somebody I can exploit their expertise in weird instruments. You have a lot of interesting choices in there, and that's when I came to realize that you have a very meaningful history with the silver tone, which is the subject of my podcast with lipstick pickups. Before I knew you, in the early days of your band, I had a history with the silver tone 1457, I believe is what that is called, and you helped me demystify that and your history with that instrument. And then I lent you my Belzuki, and because you know your way around a 12 string and these kind of vibes, you helped me understand that. And so that's why I decided a few months ago now to let you babysit my baby. To the audio listener, he's just leaned back, and there is my Jerry Jones Baby Sitar, which is a reproduction of the original Dan Electro sitar, and I've lent it to him for the last few months. I want to point out that when I have guests on here and they're musicians, usually an artist like you would be doing a podcast with somebody to talk about yourself, but yet you're good enough to talk a little bit about yourself, but letting me ask you questions about the subject in which I'm interested. All right, and more about you, more about lip service. Matthew Paige Day at the Lipstick Pickup podcast.
I love it. This is what it feels like to be king.
I appreciate your time. Is why I want to, and also explain to people why your opinion matters to me. When we became more acquainted with each other during the course of our podcast, I became aware of the fact that you are a clothier of sorts.
Of sorts.
I know, and of real sorts. He's a hat maker. And when did you start making hats? Was it in the pandemic?
That's when I started making them for sale to like offer them to people. But I had made a few attempts of these 8-panel kind of traditional old working style hats in the years leading up to that, because I started working with leather. I was making leather bags, handmade leather shoulder bags, Indiana Jones satchels kind of things, all sorts of leather goods. And then I made one of those hats out of leather, and that took me forever. And I'm like, well, okay, let's try that out of, I don't know, fabric, and, you know, like how normal hats are. But I loved these hats my whole life growing up, and my dad always wore them. He went to sea a lot, so he had a lot of those, like, Greek fisherman hats and captain's hats, so they were always around. And anyway, during the pandemic, it's like, well, I can't tour anymore, so I guess I'll start making things I could physically sell, like hats.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot. I'm still learning to get better at them, but I love these hats. People seem to like them, and not too many people are making them. And so it was sort of just like, okay, go ahead. This is yours.
Yeah.
Enjoy. You know, there's companies making them, sure, but I have a very specific style that I like to hit right on, and no one else is doing it. So
Yeah.
since 2020, I've been doing it, and I think I've made 400 hats or so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which kind of blows my mind. I run my Instagram page is called Matt Hatter, and each one of my posts is a different hat, and I think I'm around 430, 450 different hats, which I don't know. It seems like a lot, but yes. Right.
Anyway, so at the same time we were acquainting ourselves, or you were helping with the familiarity of the instrument, I was bonding with you over your hat making and your clothing making, because I appreciate it as the handmade couture that it is. Most people in America are led to believe that if something has a big brassy logo, it's couture, and couture is not that. Couture is having something custom made for you to your specifications.
That's right.
And I'm wearing some couture right now that Matthew made for me.
Look at that. Look at that. It
And
looks great on you.
at some point you posted it was either a denim or some kind of twill duo that you had made for somebody. And I think at that point I told you, I'm going to need something made by Mr. Paige. And it was months ago. You had great reason to take your time. Trust me, we're going to get into that. We collaborated on this, and you did a great job for me. And it is custom made because he asked me, how would you like this bucket? Where would you like that? What size would you like it? How about this? Do you want belt loops? Do you not want belt loops? And I felt like queen for a day because I had something custom made for me. And these are some of the best fitting pants. You let me pick out my notions. And when I was in New York in July, I was feeling really excited about my investment in my Matthew Paige original. So I went to the biggest button store in the entire universe, in the fashion district, and I picked out some amazing buttons for my podcast. And apologies to the audio listener, I have these beautiful pearlized buttons that look like a lipstick pucker, which is a very rock and roll image. Matthew made my vest that I'm wearing.
It's natural, undyed, 100% cotton denim.
Yeah.
So there's no dye in it, and it's just woven cotton is all there is to it. It hasn't been bleached or anything, so you can see little pieces of color and imperfections from it being made, but just barely. And it's that natural color. It's not white. It's off-white. And after you wash it and wear it a few times, my functioning rock and roll suit is exactly like yours, but just fits me in a way. And after you wear it a few times and sweat in it and wear it, just becomes a part of you.
I was trying to hide the fact that I'm a cross-dresser. You were wearing one too. When I saw you sometime in June, I saw DOG in June, and you were wearing your vest, and I said, that's another reason I have to have it. But I promise you, I won't wear the same outfit at the same time. But
why not?
It's
Come on,
nearly
let's be
identical
twinsies.
to the one you own. Not to creep you out, because I've been trying to dress like Pete Townsend for years. Okay, so I hope it doesn't make you uncomfortable that I want to dress like you.
No way. I just started making that's what I started doing all this for, is like I want to make the stuff that I like that I can't buy anymore.
Yeah.
And if I did go buy it, it would be really expensive, and now it'll fit perfect, it'll be nearly free, and it'll be exactly how I want it to be. So that was my inspiration into getting it. Now I like to offer that to other people because
Custom.
yeah, there's nothing quite like putting on some clothes that really fit and really make you feel good. Couture.
Music gear talk podcast, because we're talking about I love the notions on my vest made by Matthew Paige. So that's lip service to my incredible new ensemble.
That's right.
We're going to get into the gear talk portion. No more fashion. People are like, what kind of guitar talk podcast in this? We're talking about clothes and fashion and buttons. What is this bullshit?
Well, if you do want any clothes, listeners out there, I will eventually make you some.
Yeah.
So hang tight.
But you have to be patient.
Be nice, be patient, and so
it all goes hand in hand, because so much in music is style, which is why I'm going to touch on one more thing about your creative catalog before I ask you about the electric sitar and your incarnation as my favorite blues man, Bob Zimmerman. I love your new EP, which is a folk EP. I would consider folk blues.
Yeah.
And it's called Strum, Stomp, and Sing. And I've been really enjoying it. And is it all acoustic?
Yeah.
Is it all
Yeah.
acoustic?
Yeah, it was.
That right?
I did it all in one day, and I've been playing a lot of solo shows with my 12-string guitar, harmonica, and with a stomp box, something to stomp on. I have an electric stomp box, but I used an actual drum in the recording. And I just sat there over at my friend Matt Stagers, who makes brilliant microphones, and we used his microphones that he's made. Talk about bespoke. He made these microphones, and we used all his microphones on my recordings. And anyway, yeah, I play these shows, and I didn't have any recordings of how I actually sound when I'm going to play at these, coffee shops and these smaller gigs. So that's how I sound when I play. I stomp on things, I strum things, and I sing things, and I write songs. And that's four little demonstrations of that. So give that a listen.
It's
if you're a listener.
fantastic. 4 tracks, and I really love the tradition of that kind of music. I've been thinking a lot about your origins in folk-oriented instruments and your familiarity with the banjo, which plays a part in your very electric, very loud band.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're using the same thing, and I've been considering that. And it kind of goes hand in hand with my discussion as far as sitar and what would you call these resonating and percussive instruments? Dobro.
Yeah, I don't know what you call them. Yeah, resonator instruments. Yeah,
I mean,
I definitely
they have something in common.
they do. A lot of it is open tuning. A lot of it is these sympathetic strings that are just ringing along with a melody that's going on. So the sitar obviously has lots of open strings. When you play an open tuning, you're only playing like one note at a time, and you can strum all the strings. So you have this. It sounds like someone's strumming and also playing melody at the same time. So that's how I play my solo shows. And the banjo is open tuning. It's open G as well. It's the same tuning that Keith Richards uses. It's traditional blues open tuning, because you can hit that slide and hit all those strings at the same time, and it sounds great and very full, especially a 12-string. That's why I play 12-string, really full. A lot of fun. But yes, a lot of resonance, a lot of drone. I'll play one chord all day long. I don't really need the other chords. I kind of just like the one and just playing that. So
old school, just like the outfit I'm wearing.
I'm looking at all this music that I'm experiencing now, and I'm seeing exactly where it came from. It's almost like learning Latin or something. Like where it all came from. So it's not like, oh wow, how did they come up with this cool idea? I'm like, oh, there were people doing that before color TV. It's like.
Sounds like you had a primary education.
Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah. Yes.
Patrick Sweeney's is similar too. His dad weaned him on blues, and
yeah.
So, and maybe jazz or something. I can't remember, but I love that, and it shows itself in your very electric, very loud band. Acumen at this genre of music is very apparent on Strum, Stomp, and Sing. And I've not seen you play live in this incarnation.
It'll be
okay. Stop. Get the gear out.
Boom.
No, people are tired of talking about these clothes.
All right, let's talk about Jerry Jones Baby Sitars.
Yes.
Shall we?
It's a Jerry Jones reproduction of what Dan Letro made in 68, 69. Matthew's holding it up, and it's a solid...
Look at that finish.
Yeah, it's got this crackle red paint finish, which was inspired by the original ones that Dan Letro made, and it was trying to look like this weird gourd. It's corny. Is that a corny looking... Is that deliciously corny for you? He's holding up the headstock, and it's shaped like a gourd. And it says sitar on it.
Sitar. Baby sitar. It's accurately labeled.
Does it say baby?
It does.
Oh, wow. I'm glad. People have always teased me for calling it the baby sitar. I'm like, that's what it's called. It's called the baby sitar.
There's words on it.
And it's a plastic pick guard, and it looks very 1968, except it was probably made in the early aughts. Handmade here in Nashville, Tennessee by a luthier named Jerry Jones, who had an affinity for doing Dan Electro reproductions. And it's solid body. And what are the knobs for, Matthew?
This one's volume and this one's tone. You got one of your classic lipstick pickups, so you got your turn it up is volume. Then you can turn the tone, make it make it sing out the back of the throat. But this guy here, this little metal leg holder is key. It looks like, what are they doing with that? But then you get to put it on your lap and it's like, oh, you can actually hold it. Right? It just brings you right to India, doesn't it?
We have not rehearsed this. What the hell do you think about this thing?
I love it. Well, I mean, it's such a distinct sound, you know, and it does have that buzz bridge, right? And it's similar. I mean, it's the same effect as a real sitar, right? You have the strings that go over here, and then they just graze right over the flat top part of this big piece of plastic, and it gives it that. Ooh, listen how long it goes. It just keeps going. It's got.
Sustain. It's called sustain.
Oh, is that what it is? I like that. That's good. I'm gonna write that down. Well, I know you're a wizard as far as knowing about every recording that's had these on them and how they complement a recording. And if you use tastefully, it really adds a lot of flavor to a song. And since you've lent it to me, I have put it on a future recording of mine. Yes, yes. It is on wax, my friend. And I'm very proud of the song that I did with with Greg Latimer, who did one of the DOG songs, Don't Give Up on Love. But he's a brilliant recording engineer, producer, artist in his own respect. But I brought this along with my normal sitar too, and we put it on there, man. It's on there, and it sounds so cool. So I'll keep you in the loop when that song comes out.
Okay, I gotta ask you some questions about this, and So you used that and real sitar together?
Yeah.
That is very exciting to me.
Yes. Yes, it is.
There's several artists who've done that, and we probably haven't discussed this, but one of them is the Animals.
Mm-hmm.
They used it on. There's one record where they used it, and the enthusiasm were happening in tandem. And I don't know who did it. It could have been Vinnie Bell, for all I know, that did the overdubs on there. But they used real sitar and electric sitar. There's several instances, and you told me that you had used it, and I asked ahead of time. I got permission. I said, "Can I talk to you? Can I tell people that you used my baby?"
Oh yeah.
Does that make
Secret's
me?
out.
Does that make me a stage mom? I got my baby on a record.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you a reality show soon.
I cannot wait to listen to this, because I think way back when we did our first recording, you told me, I asked you about the part in Don't Give Up on Love, and I said, this sounds sitarish. And you told me you use some kind of effects or whatever. Your collaborator, Greg
Yes.
Latimer.
Yes.
And what is this recording studio called?
I believe it's called Make Sound Good, is his studio. But he is also the right-hand man and regular collaborator with Aaron Lee Tasjan, which, if you're familiar with any of his recordings, are incredible. Like Aaron Lee is just a brilliant writer and also a brilliant mind and artist entirely. And then he gets with Greg to do all of his recordings, and Greg has brilliant sonic ideas as well. Anyway, listen to any Aaron Lee Tasjan record and you'll get a vibe that just like, oh, this isn't normal. They didn't just show up and just start playing. The band just played like a hit record. You know, there's super intention. It's not just like put everything in the recording. It's very tasteful, very specific, less. It's less than you think, but really effective.
That's what you told me in our recording, and I remember it better than you did because if you're like most people, you don't want to go back and listen to the podcast with yourself. But you told me there was a part
every day I listen to myself just talking on podcasts.
No. And I know why. It's my job to listen to music. We had that conversation. It's my job to listen to music. And I found a part on that song, Don't Give Up on Love, and I played it for you, and I said, what is this effect here? I said, I know it's not sitar, but I know the vibe he was going for. And you told me he figured that one out. He's a master. And anyway, it's in concert with what you told me about this and the fun that you had with it. I am really excited about this, and I'm going to call myself an official influencer now. I lent my baby sitar to.
That's right. I've now joined the ranks of all those other brilliant folks who pulled this off the wall at the studio and, hey, you want your song to be way better? Then you should probably, I mean, it's hard not to feel good listening to that, you know? Yes, you are an influencer.
I mean, is there any guitar that you've played in the past that has anything in common with this, or is this just a weirdo, or I mean, I'm curious to know somebody. You have a ton of interesting instruments, which is why I love exploiting my friendship with you and appreciate your time. Is that you have so many interesting instruments. And
yes, well, thank you.
You have a flair for it.
I know, it's hard not to. I'm obsessed with instruments and weird, because I mean, a string is a string. People are like, how do you know how to play all these instruments? I'm like, well, it's a string. Anything you put this string over is the same. It acts the same. A sitar, whatever, it's the same. Halfway through a string is the octave. You know, it's the same. So you figure it out. You learn it. But this is a 100% unique. You know, it plays like a guitar, so that's okay. But as far as the same tactics you would use on a guitar, it's not. None of the same rules apply. You know, it's not some long resonant thing. You know, it does resonate, but it also has a short. It doesn't just hang there forever. So you have to play it different. You know, you have to be very vocal and very specific with what you're playing. So, no, I don't have anything that's like this besides my actual sitar. And you only actually put your finger on and play one string on the sitar. Which check our other podcast to see details of that. But this is, you gotta be very specific with what you play. And that's why I think on all of those recordings that you know about this instrument being on, it's always like a melody line. It's not someone strumming chords. It's always like the melody of the song, like, you know, it's out front. It's hard to hide. You know, this is it. So it was a learning experience actually to figure out how to make this thing be all it could be.
Oh, you didn't do that. What was that you just played? What was that?
A riff in A. I'm just playing. Yeah, and then he started playing country on a sitar. It's like, okay, right on.
Do it, Matthew. Sounds like old-timey music to me.
Yeah.
It does have an old-timey because of the weird, you could do a lot of weird things with that, and I have found, just recently, somebody shot me a studio pic by somebody in a studio, and they had one on the wall, and it was a Jerry Jones. I can't remember who it was, and they're in some studios. Did your friend, was he familiar with this one? Did he have anything like that in his studio, Greg?
No,
Yeah,
he does not.
It doesn't mean. Sometimes I'll talk about this or the big one, and people say every studio needs one. I'm like, there's a lot of studios that don't have them, and they do other things with it. They use effects pedals. This is like one big effects pedal, basically.
Yeah, it is. It's its own effect, you know. It is one effect pedal, and that's why a lot, you know what. Eddie Vedder pulls it out for one song, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a one song or that song. It's a that song instrument, you know. But I remember Patrick Sweeney on one of your interviews talked about how it sounds very John Lee Hooker because he had his frets really low, and instead of buzzing against that bridge, it would buzz against these frets, and so it's got, you know. It's got that vein, you know. But other than that, I don't know. It just sounds like
Matthew,
India to me. What?
Matthew, you've invented a new genre called sitar blues.
Give me that sitar blues, man. Pretty good.
It really sounds bluesy. I didn't see that. I mean, see, that one sounds a little different than the big one, and because of the. And I think, and that's why I love talking to musicians like you and Patrick, because you can teach me those things. I can teach you where the music is, but you guys can make those observations. And this one has so many more pickups, and then. That one sounds different and is more of a primitive instrument. People argue whether the sympathetic strings do anything or not. I love to watch them and, you know, weigh in. I don't really know, but that one's the simplified version. And you sitting there playing old-timey music on it sounds pretty awesome.
It does, yeah. I mean, the sitar is one of the oldest instruments there is. You know, it's ancient, super ancient. So I think it hits some deep human inner chord that we, you know, we've lost touch with. But I don't know. This brings it back somehow. Deep human stuff.
I really don't want that sitar back. I want to leave my baby with you. Like,
well, I know where to find it.
It doesn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to you.
Well, I'll definitely put it to more good use in the future because it is a beautiful piece. Yeah.
Matthew, you are all pro, man.
Hey now.
You continue to demonstrate why I rely on your observations as.
It takes a village, am I right? Come on. Look at that. Look at that.
To the listener, he's holding up this weird red crackled gourd, and I don't want it back. I want to give my baby. I'm an unfit mother. I look great in my Matthew Paige suit, but the reality is I'm an unfit mother. This is an audio podcast, but I'm going to back up a little bit so we can see a little bit more.
Yeah, let's see it.
before we sign off. And I want to say that Matthew and his band DOG are making a record right now where are you doing every track with a different studio paradigm? Is that
sometimes we'll do 2 tracks at once, but or in the same with the same people. But the idea was each song we do it in a different studio with a different producer, with a different engineer, different place, different group of people, and that we would pretty much give full control to the producer we've asked to come in. So there's been different people and from different bands we've appreciated and different producers we actually liked. And so they're all these songs are landed in different places we would not have landed. And a lot of times most bands need to, budget-wise and time-wise, need to go, okay, we got 3 days or 5 days. That's all we can afford to go in the studio. So you only have 4 or 5 guitars and a few amps and a few tones that really span a whole album when you do it that way. This way, we're using their guitars, their amps, we're using whatever's around, the circumstances are different, the microphones are different, so each song has kind of become its own beast. So
I'm so excited about this because in my work as a listener, I'm starting to appreciate studios, producers, people who make decisions, people who say, let's do this, let's do that, and that you'll be showcasing a lot of things. Is there some things that you bring as standard, or you try, like you brought that one into Greg, and are you showing up with anything in most cases?
I'll bring 1 or 2 guitars with some of my favorite guitars, that I know will do a good job. But a lot of these studios just are stocked with gear. And personally, I like doing things where I don't have to choose. I like using the circumstance, so I don't have to make that decision. Like, okay, I'll just use whatever's there, and that's what I'll use. So at Greg's place, we use his guitars and his amps and just make it work with whatever you have.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. It's a great thing.
It's of course I could bring my gear and sound exactly like me everywhere I go, but I'm not trying to just be another me.
I want to borrow your stuff. I want to use your stuff. Look, let's improvise.
I just put this into open tuning, so now it's in the same way a sitar is. It's an open chord, and you can just. Oh, come on. Come on.
You just took it to the mountains. To the mountains.
That's the only place I know to go.
So I want to back up so this is an audio podcast, but I do want to back up and let people see that I'm going to stand up.
She's standing up.
I've got a vest. I've got
the lips. You can see the lips. There's 4 buttons, 3 pockets on the vest. There's 4 pockets on the pants. That's right. Classic. Off-white. Beautiful.
This is ready for a flower. I should have picked one of my flowers and put it in.
Careful what you do with those flowers out there.
Got to. I've seen Matthew, like any dapper man, he'll show up with a boutonniere, whatever you call a flower, and Saturday didn't last long because it got stomped.
When that rock show starts, nothing's safe. Nothing's safe.
If you want to see him be nice to flowers, go to an acoustic folk show, okay? We're having a lot of fun with that. But Matthew, you continue to show why I continue to exploit my relationship and my friendship, my collaboration with you.
Yes, it's a collaboration. Well, you're doing a great job of bringing attention where it is due on these American instruments. This is a piece of America, This is very cool, We have something cool to offer, and you're listening and you're paying attention. A dying art.
Okay, you are a very strong banjo player. Was your first instrument banjo?
That's the first one I really wanted to play when I heard it. My dad took me to a bluegrass festival when I was like 8 or something, and I saw some guy, just really go to town on a banjo, and I was like, that.
Yeah, early adoption. So
Yeah.
the whole dueling banjos thing,
Yeah.
can you play that on that?
You get it. But yes, I know dueling banjos.
I think we have to stop there.
We probably should. All right. It's been fun. I'll get this back into your hands. But my God, it's been fun.
Matthew Paige puts the can in Americana, folks.
Woo-hoo.
How did Matthew Paige Appreciation Day go?
I'd say it went pretty well.
Well, we ran late, but we always do because we're having too much fun. Sorry, folks.
Not sorry. I'm not sorry. Not at all.
The only thing I'm sorry about is that I can't be up in Chicago this week and seeing Matthew Paige play acoustic folk.
With any luck, there'll be some more opportunities in the future. And if anybody here is listening from Chicago, come on out. It's going to be a good time. I won't have this, but I'll have something close. We got to stop. All right, everybody go home.
Thank you, Matthew. TheLipstickPickup.com. Sympathetic string. Most esteemed. Fourth inning. We nailed it today. And you're going to keep coming back because I want you to teach me about... I'm not a very good student, and I want you to teach me about bluegrass. I want you to teach me. Say, shut up, Emily. I'm going to teach you about bluegrass.
I'll teach you as much as I know. I don't know as much as I should, but I'll give you what I got. And, man, it's a good world to get into. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be like, man, I got to quit buying all these Jimmy Martin records.
And I'll try to keep... we'll learn together, and I'll try to keep my mouth shut and let you be the teacher.
We'll see.
Thank you, Matthew. Thanks, anybody who stayed through the whole episode. We had a blast. Bye.
Bye-bye.
If you hear excellent tone and the sound of birds chirping, it means you've made it through an entire episode of the Lipstick Pickup podcast. You're as free as a bird now, but I hope you'll join me again soon. Comments or questions? I can be reached at emily@thelipstickpickup.com.